And let me go to, hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday night's training call, how to push through your negative self-talk. This is a big one, I know, because it's taken me years to push through mine, and I still push through it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing you as a priority. My name is Denise Dominguez. I am a women's empowerment coach. I coach women on resolving unhealthy relationships so that they can live a life of freedom, joy, abundance. I help women embrace who they are so that they can be free to create the results they desire in business, life, and relationships. And tonight, I want you to just sit back and relax and take in as much info as possible. You don't even need to take notes because there's going to be a replay for you. So just take in what we're all communicating to each other, what the messages that I'm giving to you. I'm so glad you're here. We are going to be super interactive in this live call. So like I said, hover over the bottom, there's a chat box there, because tonight I am asking questions, and that is where you can answer them. That's where we'll communicate. All right, let's do some housekeeping. So this call is just for you. So make yourself a priority for the next 30 to 40 minutes. That means close out all your tabs on your computer and put your cell phone on silent and just be here with me and do you. Make yourself a priority. This is about you. Hopefully you're in a relaxing place to listen to this call. I call it my sacred place. It's a place where I have just for me, where I listen to my coaching calls and my training calls. And I always have next to me, mine is always water. I prefer water. Where is my water? Here it is. But you know what? Have a glass of whatever your preference is if it's a glass of wine or tea or whatever. Let's do a couple of deep breaths before we start, just so that we can be in the present moment. So every time we inhale on these couple of deep breaths, I want you to inhale all of the love and all of the light of you. And then when you exhale, I want you to exhale all the shit from today so that you can just be here with me. Okay? So here we go. Ready? Breathe in. All the love and the light. Breathe out all the crap. Breathe in. One more time. Breathe in. Love and light. Breathe out. All of the crap from today. All right. I always like to do that. It gets me centered. I know that. All right. So I hosted a radio show on Blog Talk called It's Your Turn Radio. And I'm a speaker, and my signature speech is Own Your Story so your story doesn't own you. And most recently, I am a 2-time best-selling international author of the book A New Day Dawns, Breaking Up with Abuse, that launched last October of 2016. But you know what? Things weren't always this awesome in my life. After 22 years of being in a toxic marriage, I decided it was time to leave. I left and moved 3 states away with no job and managed to manifest $10,000 to leave Florida. And that's not including the 10 days that I spent in Colorado on vacation. I did this in only 5 months. I made a plan and followed it and did everything that I set out to do. And that's what brings me here tonight, talking to you about negative self-talk. So why am I able to talk to you about this? Let's face it. We've all got that mind chatter going on inside of our heads, right? We all have it. And it goes something like this. I can't do that. Or who do you think you are? Or he's too cute for me. Or I'm not good enough to do this. Or I'm not good enough to do that. Or I can't have that. The list goes on and on. But here's the thing. You and I are no different from each other. We all have this kind of mind chatter going on. The difference is that some people choose to change this, and some people stay where they are. For me, I chose a long time ago to change this, and every day it gets better and better. You know why? Because I've been practicing. Yes, that is the key to this. Practice, practice, practice. I started with vision boards and journaling back in 2008. And I had no idea what I was doing. I really didn't. I just threw something together and I just started doing it, right? And guess what? One thing led me to another. So from there, from my vision board and my journaling, I found Louise Hay. If you don't know her, I'll put her in the chat box, Louise Hay. She's amazing. She's real big on affirmations and mirror work. And so I started doing affirmations, and affirmations go something like this. I am powerful, because you have to watch your words. And I'm going to get deeper into that in this call, because this is where we change things. I am powerful, or I am enough, or I am money. Whatever it is that you want to create in your life, you have to state yourself in the present moment. Saying I want is always going to tell the universe that you want it. It's just outside your reach, and it's never going to come to you. So using certain words, so that's why I love Louise Hay and her affirmations and mirror work. So standing in front of the mirror and talking to yourself and saying these things really is really powerful, and it changes things for you quickly. So from there, I was led to the movie The Secret, the book, I think it was both, and so on and so on, until 2012 came, and I had left my toxic marriage, and I was working the 9-to-5, boring, shoot me, job, and wanted to create an online business for myself. So from there, by this time, I was more and more surrounding myself with positive, people that share their positive stories, and they had coaching businesses, and I really didn't even know what the coaching world was really about. But I was surrounding myself with people and more positive things and less of the negative. And Facebook loves to give you what you like. So by me clicking like, it gives me more of that, right? Kind of like the way the universe works. So I found this beautiful business coach out in California, and I'm going to make a really long story short. I trusted her more than I trusted me and got into her program, and that's how I created my online business. But the thing is that when I got into this business of coaching, everything that I do to invest in my business is also investing in me. So while I was with this business coach, so when you hear business coach, you think business, right? But I got a lot of personal coaching from her too. It was amazing because it totally changed. And she taught me things like, finish what you start, right? Because I know for me, I was famous for starting something and not finishing. Something as little as a book or a program or whatever. So it's really important to finish what you start, because everything you do, you are sending vibration and messages out to the universe, and the universe is going to bounce it right back to you, right? So if you start something and you don't finish it, what does that say? Incomplete. The universe gives you more incomplete, and so on and so on and so on. So that was really how I got started in changing my thought process even more, diving into it more. So like I said, 2008, it started with the vision board, it started with journaling, and it just was more and more and more as the years went on. So 2012 was a biggie. when I moved here and was searching for that. And 2014 was huge. And it just gets better and better. It really does. When you stay on track and you're really committed to yourself, that's another thing, commitment to yourself, you will start to see things change, shift and change in your life. And then once you start getting that, you get really motivated and excited. And so then you want more. And so then you continue and you dive in deeper. So I see somebody, I guess, put something in the chat. Let me see. Oh, yes. Okay, good. You know who Louise Hay is. She's amazing. All right. So let's look at some disempowering words. There are some words and phrases that disempower us more than we can imagine. I actually call them debilitating words because they weaken our mind, our body, and our spirit. And an MRI will prove that a negative word simply flashed before our eyes is, for a fraction of a second, would cause a sudden release of stress producing hormones and neurotransmitter that interrupt the normal functioning of the brain. Like, really? That's some deep shit right there, right? Just having that negative word simply flash before our eyes for a fraction of a second can do that. It would impair reason, logic, language processing, and communication. And a whole list of negative words will damage key structures of the brain that are responsible for regulating memory, feelings, and emotions. Okay, let's stay with that for a second. Because if you saw my Facebook Live, then you saw that I was talking about more than 90% of the messages that are in our head are bullshit, right? And that this negative self-talk that we have is actually what was programmed into our brain, our minds. And I always say before I go into this that I'm not blaming or shaming anybody. This is not about blaming or shaming anybody. It just is, right? Our parents, or whoever raised us, didn't know this, right? They only know what they were given and what they were shown. And so they passed that on. I did too, to my kids. Clearly, I talk about being married to a narcissist for 22 years, didn't even know it. But the thing is that we didn't know, they didn't know. And so they passed it to us. And so our brains are literally programmed. So what we're doing now is just unraveling all the shit, right? First, you need awareness to know that, holy crap, those are lies. They're not true, right? And so the next thing to do, unravel, is to start practicing and staying committed to yourself. This does not happen overnight. This definitely takes time. So let me give you some helpful hints. I intend to speak to myself with love and kindness. This is a vibration that you can send out to the universe. I will treat myself patiently and compassionately. I will honor myself the way I honor my best friend. I will make myself laugh. Okay, so setting the intentions of what you want out of this, and put yourself on a challenge, 7-day challenge, 21-day challenge of being kind and patient with yourself. When you think of those two words, being kind and patient to yourself, that will change everything. If you constantly remind yourself to be kind and patient to yourself. So if you're a mom and you have kids, like I'm a mom and I have kids, I always love to use my kids as an example. So, when your kid is 3 years old, 4 years old, and they come out of, waking up out of bed, and they come out, and they got bedhead, the hair is everywhere, right? They may have drool coming down or some sleep in their eye, whatever. What would you say to your child? Right? Would you totally criticize them? Go, oh my God, you didn't check yourself in the mirror before you came out? No, of course not. You would just, wipe it and clean them all up and give them a hug and a kiss and love them. And what do you want for breakfast? But we don't do that to ourselves. We're so critical of ourselves. We look at ourselves in the mirror and we immediately go to what our flaws are, what's not perfect about us. And I'm going to get deeper into that too, about perfectionism. Oh my God, let go of that shit. Let go of it. You are perfect just the way you are. So, all right. What it does to our body. Negative words will drain us of our strength, while positive words will make us stronger. Okay? So sit on that for a second. Negative words will drain us of our strength, while positive words will make us stronger. All right? So here's some phrases and words to stop using now. Should. Stop shoulding yourself. I love saying that. I'm a dork, I know. Should usually says, I feel ashamed, guilty, and regretful that I don't, right? Should. Take it out of your vocabulary. I can't sets you up for failure and often means I won't or I don't know how to. Problem. Feels like a lot of work to devise a solution, which causes stress and blocks creativity, right? That's another thing you can start saying. I am creative. I am creative. The word no, while it's wonderful for setting boundaries, I totally encourage no in that sense, but it's dangerous when it's coupled with body language and actions that embody fear, rejection, self-sabotage, self-denial, anger, disapproval, blame, shame, and guilt. Just, the word just, a qualifier to minimize ourselves, our possessions, and our accomplishments. I have a whole list of these. But is another one. Someday is another one. Why me? I don't know. It's not fair. I'm not. I'll try. But what if? Don't. I wish. I mean, the list goes on and on. I have a whole nother slide. I have to. I hate. No way. I hope. Impossible. No one is perfect. We all have that image of perfection inside. We were raised with it. We were expected to be perfect, and when we weren't, we were punished for not being perfect. So I see some of my clients on here. So if you're my client, you clearly know that this is one of the books that we read. It is The Mastery of Love, and I'm going to read a little bit or just tell you a little bit about one part of the book because it's so powerful. And when I first read it, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And here's why. So if you don't know me and you don't maybe know about me or follow me, I was in an abusive marriage for 22 years. I was married to a narcissist, very toxic relationship. And because he didn't hit me, because he didn't physically abuse me, I didn't realize that I was in an abusive relationship. I didn't know I was being abused. I didn't know he was a narcissist. And that wore on me. It wore me down. Finally, after 22 years, I had the courage to leave. And like I said in the beginning, moved 3 states away and started my life over again. So this part of the book really hit me because it talks about, yes, we have that perfectionism, right? So The Mastery of Love, Don Miguel Ruiz talks about the image of perfect and what comes out of that. What comes out of that? Self-abuse. Okay, here's where it gets a little deep, and I didn't want to get too deep because we need to be one-on-one if I get too deep. So here's some quotes out of the book. We learn to deny ourselves and reject ourselves. We are never good enough or right enough or healthy enough or what enough, or this enough, and so on. According to all the beliefs we have about ourselves, there is always something that we can never accept or forgive. That is why we think we don't deserve happiness. We have a very high level of self-abuse because of that image of perfection. You have a limit to the amount of abuse you will accept. But no one in the world abuses you more than you abuse yourself. That's the part that really blew me out of the water, because in the book it says that we allow other people to abuse us a little bit less than what we do to ourselves, than the way we self-abuse ourselves. And this is from that image of perfectionism, the lies, the messages that we believe, that we were programmed to believe while we were growing up, and our self-talk, our negative self-talk, our chatter, our mind chatter, the constant ridicule that we do to ourselves, right? I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. Oh my gosh, let it go. And know that you're so perfect exactly the way you are. You really are. Believe that. Believe that. And start believing the more empowering and positive messages. So this part of the book really, I talk about it with my clients, and I read more about it and dive in deep to that chapter, because it's so crucial for us to know that we do self-abuse. And that for me, in my 22-year marriage, my ex was abusing me a little bit less than I was abusing myself. That's why that hit me like a ton of bricks. Because when I thought of it that way, I was like, holy shit, that's some deep shit there. Was I really that bad to myself? Was I really that abusive to myself? Apparently. And so here's the big kicker. When that person abuses us a little bit more than we abuse ourselves, that's when we walk away. That's when we leave the relationship. That's when we say enough is enough. And this could be any relationship. This could be siblings and parents and coworkers or whatever. For me, it was my ex. 22 years. I finally had enough. And it's taken a lot of healing to get to this point where I can talk about it with no charge and even laugh about it and just know and see the gifts in my self-abusing myself and the abuse that I went through. But like I said, practice. It took a lot of self-healing and also changing this and believing that 90% or more of what's in my head was lies, and started to believe I am enough. I am beautiful. I am perfect just the way I am. Right? Because for the longest time, it was like, for the longest time, actually, I didn't even have a high school diploma. And then I got that, right? Because I challenged myself and I got that. That was a long time ago. But I didn't have a college degree. And I didn't have this, and I didn't have that. And I was always looking at what I didn't have versus what I did have, right? Maybe I didn't have that. It doesn't mean that I wasn't smart, right? So it really is about you changing your mind, your thought process, and believing positive messages about you versus what you were told growing up. And again, no shame, no blame on anybody. So another good helpful hint, a really good helpful hint actually, is take time out from social media. Studies have shown that social media increases self-criticism So instead, spend some time on sites that are all about self-improvement. This is what I did. So when I was talking about Facebook likes what I like, right, or gives me back what I like, it's because I was starting to search for law of attraction things or Louise Hay, and then Facebook gives you some suggestions. So it was actually in 2008, Oprah, my girl, had Louise Hay and Shel Richardson as guests. And that's the first time I ever saw either of these two women. First time I heard of The Secret, first time I knew of them. And so Louise Hay, I remembered the names, and I liked their pages on Facebook, and it gave me more and more of that. That's how I found my coach in California. And I just started surrounding myself with all these positive things, started reading self-help books like The Secret and Louise Hay stuff, and even Shel Richardson, and started looking at these women as so inspiring and so, beautiful. They're such beautiful women, and look what they've done with their lives. Louise Hay, if you know anything about her, she didn't even start her books and business until she was 60. She's an amazing woman. She's been through a lot of crap. My coach up in Canada, horrible childhood, horrible, came through it, and now coaches women all over the world. She has a school to certify women to be empowerment coaches. She's amazing. She's been through some shit. So look into what you want and focus on that, right? Focus on the things that help you improve you. All right, be creative. Create an intention that originates from your heart in all of the ways that you want to speak with yourself, and in turn, feel about yourself. So start with, what do I want? How do I want to feel? And then create that intention. Rule number 1, use your words in an affirmative way, meaning formulate your sentences using do instead of don't, and always in the present terms. Examples, like I was saying before, I am enough, right? Not I want to feel like I'm enough. Take that word want out. I have a wonderful life, or I have a wonderful relationship with myself. I am worthy of all the good in the world, or I am just worthy. I am just worthy. And do this in front of the mirror. Look at yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, and say these things. And just keep saying them and keep saying them and keep saying them, right? This is an exercise that I do with my clients. Keep saying it until you feel a shift inside of you. I promise it happens. Let me head over here. Robin says, just about to go on Hay House Summit, and Louise is there. Highly recommended this annual summit. I love her. She's amazing. She has an amazing story. Okay. All right. So what you want to do is you want to catch yourself, right? That's being aware. Be aware of the thoughts that are going on inside of your head. Catch yourself. And then start the movement of change inside of you. And then lastly, be kind and patient with yourself. Talk to yourself like you would talk to your best friend, right? Your best friend, if she walked in the room and she had like a god-awful skirt on, what would you say? Would you totally criticize her? Or would you be kind and patient with her and let her know she's not walking out of the house with that skirt? It's really about being kind and patient with yourself. All right, what we must do is tap into the subconscious mind. Our emotional mind, it cannot tell the difference between real or imagined. That's why I say, look at yourself in the mirror and say these things to yourself. I am whatever it is for you. I am enough, or I am beautiful, or I am successful, or I am whatever it is. Because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between real or imagined. So keep saying, or I love myself. That's another great one. This is one that I use for my clients. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself, over and over and over again. And in the mirror, it's so much more powerful. Say it while you're in the shower. Say it while you're driving. Say it before you go to bed. Say it when you wake up in the morning. Start now and practice, practice, practice. I promise you it will work. But you have to stay, two things. You have to practice and you have to stay committed to that practice. And in turn, you're staying committed to you, because aren't you worth it? Aren't you worth having whatever it is that you desire out of life? So women come to me all the time and I ask them in the first conversation, what is it that you want? A lot of them say, I want a soulmate. I want to have a relationship with a man that is meaningful and, loving and compassionate and like my best friend, because I've never had that before. Well, guess what? That was me. I never had that before either. I managed to create that into my life. So whatever it is for you that you want to create in your life, whether you want to travel more or travel at all, maybe you want to start your own business. Maybe you want to start an online business. Maybe you want to just start having healthy relationships around you. Coworkers, maybe whatever it is for you, that is where you need to start. Is being and knowing that you need to commit to yourself, because you have that outcome, right? Keep your eye on the prize. You have the outcome of what you want in front of you. That's what's important. Because when you slide off the scale and you get back into old habits, and that's normal, it happens to all of us. That's where the commitment comes in, where you have to stay committed. Reach out to somebody. If you don't know or follow me, I always give 90-minute coaching calls. If we have not connected before, I offer 90-minute coaching calls, absolutely free, with no call to action. I actually give you homework to do. I coach you for 90 minutes and I give you homework. Okay? And I will give you sustainable tools to use. Like I said, in the beginning, I'll ask you what you want. So whatever it is you want, I'll pull that and I will give you homework based on that. Okay? So, ladies, there's no better time to start than now. Okay? This is the beginning of you creating what you want out of your life. So you have to ask yourself, what is it that I want? How bad do I want it? Your comfort zone, I promise you, is not going to do anything for you. It's not going to take you places. It's going to keep you right there. And that's what our brains do. They keep us safe, right? The reason why I even moved here to North Carolina from Florida, one of the reasons, yes, I was leaving my ex and all of that, but one of the reasons was at that time I thought, well, Florida's too expensive to live on my own, right? Because I was financially dependent on my ex. And North Carolina, the cost of living was less than Florida, right? So that was my brain keeping me safe. Go where it's safe, Denise. Go where it's safe. That's what our brains do. And that's our comfort zone. You have to step outside your comfort zone. Yes, it's scary, but I promise you, you will gain so much growth from doing it. If you feel more comfortable taking baby steps, I totally encourage that. If you want to start off with dipping your toes in the water, I totally encourage that. whatever it is, just do it. Just start doing it. So here we are, 35 minutes into the call. And as always, I will, at this time, take everybody off of mute. And if anybody has any questions or needs any coaching, this is your time. So unmute all. Okay. It says you're off. Okay, there it goes. Cool. So does anybody need any coaching, or do you have any questions or comments? No?
You were going to put the name of...
The name of what?
The name of that lady. Sorry.
Oh, Louise Hay?
Yeah. How do you spell her name?
Louise, Louise, and it's Hay, Louise Hay.
Okay.
I put it in the chat box for you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, okay, Melissa? Awesome. Hold on. I will do the link right now. I'll put it in the chat box. Just click on it. There. That's the link for the 90-minute coaching call. So you can click on it or copy and paste it, whatever you want. That way you can set up a time in calendar that's good for you. Anybody else? Okay. Going once. I see some of my clients on here. I see Robin and I see Joanne. I don't know if it's my Joanne, but I see a Joanne.
I think it is. Hi, Joanne. Hi, other ladies, new ladies.
All right.
Just one quick thing. I think with the negative talk, when we're saying it and being aware and catching yourself, I found that it is working. It is. But I'm also now taking it just a little bit more to try and challenge myself again. So much work at the moment, but it's all good. I'm asking myself whose thought it is. So is it my thought, or is it someone who's implanted that negative, does that make sense?
Robin, that is an excellent point that you just brought up. Excellent.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So first, let me ask you, when you ask yourself that question, do you go into answering it?
I try to. I try. Sometimes I don't get the answer, but it's more just being aware and catching myself, and then I'll then go away, and when I do my meditation in the morning or my gratitude or my journaling at night, I'll ask the question then again, and usually I do get the answer. It comes, but you have to sit and listen.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do, and this goes for everybody.
Okay.
When you ask yourself that question, I actually don't want you to answer it. I don't want you to search for the answer. What I want you to do is stay with it, and it feels light, right? So go with your feeling. Energetically, how do you feel? Right?
Okay.
If it feels heavy, then you say return to sender.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, because it doesn't matter who or where it came from, you're sending it back to them. So that's actually your question, Robin. You're so amazing. That is a consciousness question. That comes from access consciousness. And what you do, so the next part of that process is you say, who does this belong to? And you can actually say that for other people too. But for you, when these thoughts come into your head, and you say to yourself, who does this belong to? Then stay with what you feel. Don't answer the question.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you say, return to sender.
Yeah. So
goodbye.
Is that when you say you're using those open questions and you're just being curious?
Right.
Like, how would it feel? Is that the same?
Yes.
Okay, got you.
That is about not answering the question and allowing the universe to give you the answer. But in that specific question, it doesn't matter because the universe isn't going to go, oh, that was your ancestor from blah, 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 blah. No. You just want to return it to sender.
Yeah.
All you want to do energetically, because you don't want it to be taking over in your head. You know, you don't want it to repeat over and over inside of your head. You want to get rid of it.
Yeah, because I see it as a swapping. You're swapping your own self-negative, mind chatter, and then you ask the question, who does that belong to? And then go, oh, it might be my mum or my brother or whoever. Then you're taking on their crap.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I understand. Thank you.
Exactly. Yes. And like I always say, that's why I say that when I start talking about like, where does this stuff come from, that there's no shame and there's no blame. Because honestly, it doesn't matter where it came from, because even if it did come from your mom or your grandmother, that's not their shit either.
Yeah.
They were shown that. They were taught that. That's where they got it from. So if you want to, you can't rack your brain and go, how many hundreds of years ago did this start, right? Forget about it. Just return to sender.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay. Well, there's the link, ladies. If you have not gotten on a 90-minute call with me, and let's set up a time. My website is denisedominguez.com if you want to check me out. And also, the replay of this call and all the other calls that I do are on my YouTube channel. Last week we did, what does I love you mean from a narcissist? That was a good one. And I'm going to continue to talk about narcissism and abusive relationships, especially because I was in one and didn't even know it. So like I said in the call, because he wasn't hitting me, I didn't put 1 and 2 together. I wasn't connecting the dots. I think I'm going to I'm going to do one more call on narcissism, and then I'm going to talk about how to stop attracting narcissism in your life, right?
Okay.
So many coaches talk about recognizing them, understanding them, how it's created, blah, 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 blah. But nobody talks about how to stop attracting them into your life. So I'm going to do that call in a couple months or something. But that's how you can get on a call with me and we can connect. And thank you so much for being here. And thank you for choosing you as a priority. And if nobody has anything that they want to ask or comment or get coached on, we will end the call.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Have a great night.
You too. Thanks, Joanne.
Thanks.
Denise.
Whoever.
Joanne just come up on the thing. Thank you, Denise.
All right. See you later.